Hello. Welcome to another edition on Table Talk. It's your girl, Temmy Balogun, and I have with me, Christabel, Ikpen. And together, we're going to be giving you something hot this time around. This is very different. We're talking about the just concluded Afcon 2021. We're going to be having some reviews and some recommendations. And guess who we have here with us? You cannot guess. We have great minds that would be analyzing everything that went down on that field. Don't think I don't know sport, though. Just wait. But don't mind Christabel. So now, let me just go straight and introduce our guest. Straight away. I have with me here Mr. Bayo Salau. He's a broadcaster and a founder of Sport Bloom NG. You're welcome, sir.
My pleasure to be here.
It's great having you. Today we're going to be breaking down Afcon. I hope you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right. And I have with me Mr. Ola Olajide. He is an ex-Lagos Nepa player, a sport coach, and a sport veteran. You're welcome, sir.
It's a great feeling having me here.
It is like we're happy to be having, when like before we came on set and it was like, wow, so you played for the Lagos Nepa FC. Wow, we have a great star amidst us today. So we are going to be breaking down this Afcon together because we want a better Nigeria. We want maybe for 2023, not even a maybe, right?
No.
We want to get our cups. We want to bring it home and be singing that song. Stand up for the champion, stand up. Do you understand? So basically, these are my guests. And today we're going to be analyzing everything that went down during the Afcon 2021. And it's going to be a wonderful one. Stick around. In a few minutes, we're going to start. Thank you.
So, Mr. Ola Olajide, the recent expansion, right, of the tournament from 16 to 24 teams, what's your take on that? Like, why did you think, that was put into place, and does it really make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Football, strictly all over the world, it's unified virtually everybody.
Okay.
For unity purpose, then it's strictly, let me say, it's a business now when you talk about club football.
Okay.
And we are talking about a lot of infighting in different countries, political problems, and the only unifying factor is the game of football. Let's say sport generally, but football is the only sport that unifies everybody. When you talk about expansion, yes, we really need in African Nations Cup. It gives room for development of the game, and it avoids discovering of talents.
Okay.
Moving from 16 teams to 24 teams, let me say this. We witness a lot of things that happens in the Afcon. Where the big teams, like you said the other time, are struggling.
Yeah.
That actually tell us that there are no minors in the game of football any longer. Let me take example, the Equatorial Guinea.
Okay.
When you mention this very country, some people don't even know. But this football we are talking about has brought them into limelight.
Okay.
I agree.
I see where you come from.
Personally, I was shocked to the bone marrow. The standard exhibited by the likes of the Equatorial Guinea in the recently concluded Afcon.
Wow.
Which means the games are developing.
Yeah.
And if you don't give room for expansion, how do you make those discoveries? how do you put these people in the world map of the game of football? So to me, the CAF, Confederation African Federation, has done well.
Okay.
At least the World Cup is being expanded from time to time. So the African or the other football governing body should equally do that.
Do the same.
It's a great, I really welcome it.
Wow.
I really welcome it.
And I really, and I really agree with you, because I mean, you literally see there are some players, right? So I didn't really follow the Afcon, but I did watch some matches, especially when Nigeria was playing. I mean, but there was something I noticed, that if there is no expansion, I think some players that played wouldn't have had that opportunity.
They wouldn't have that opportunity.
You get
to exhibit their
exactly.
talent.
And new people are being interested in this particular football.
Like the Victoria Guinea we are talking about now, they are just a debutant.
Wow.
They have Afcon. We have other debutant, Guinea-Bissau and the rest. So it was the expansion that gave them that opportunity to come into the tournament.
Wow.
And I think we have seen a lot of great talents in those teams.
All right. So, Mr. Bayo, do you agree with him on this, or do you have a different view about this expansion? Do you feel it was necessary on the let's say entire team? Would you say it really made any difference doing the football that was being played?
Okay, I think you have spoken very well. One of the things we should understand is where you started off from by saying that football these days, sport basically, has actually reached unification of understanding.
True.
In virtually everything that has to do with humanity involved, and then sport is not an exclusion from that. Over time, when you look at this part of the world, I'm talking about Africa now.
Okay.
Because it's the Afcon, and we're looking at it in retrospect.
Yes.
We are going to look at a whole lot of things that transcends just playing football. Like you rightly mentioned, I mean, it's just like you took the words from my mouth. I mean, we know smaller nations, Equatorial Guinea, Comoros, Guinea-Bissau. I mean, these were nations that ordinarily, when you talk about everything of African football, they won't be mentioned.
True.
They are spring chickens in every phase that you look at it. But this time around, they've actually come with the opportunity given to them by CAF. If FIFA, we're supposed to be the governing council or governing body of football as it were globally, and we are supposed to be a franchise or like an affiliate of that institution. If they are moving such, or if they are moving towards a particular path, I think it's only normal for you to also expand it. We saw the same thing at the European Nations Cup last time when they hosted. So what's stopping African football? And that's the only way we can expand and tell the African story beyond the colonial, manipulation.
The way it's been painted to the world.
For Africa. So you understand that the media, they had a whole lot with regards to the Nations Cup. So coming down to see what we actually showed or we showcased with the conclusion Afcon says a lot about what we can get from Africa. I think it's very good. It's excellent in whichever way you look at it, and of course we're happy for it.
Wow, amazing. So one of the things that we noticed during this Afcon, just concluded Afcon, is that the big team, they kind of struggled, and the small ones were impressed. So on the balance of play, would you say that it was the best team that won this tournament?
Absolutely. I mean, Senegal just played very well. They played exceedingly beyond expectations.
Yeah.
But there were not so much scores, goals
Yes,
scored.
I will tell you why this time they took it beyond my own expectation. In 2015, I mean, there seems to be a lot of things around Senegal. Aliou Cissé has been in the mouth of everybody. Who is Aliou Cissé? Everybody seems to have actually come out to say, you see now, this was, especially from the Nigerian media space.
Yeah.
They've actually said there's a need for our own government to look inwards, bringing or employing indigenous coaches, which is not out of place. But this has always been also my concern. Our local-based coaches, how many of them are prepared for the job? That's the big question. As much as I want indigenous coaches, but how many of them? Aliou Cissé, for crying out loud. If you look at Aliou Cissé, I have followed African football at least from Italian 90. And I know Aliou Cissé spent virtually most of his life in France.
Okay.
He is not, in fact, the biggest coach in African football, or who has the highest record of success by any fleet of imagination. It's Claude Leroy. Excuse me. It's Claude Leroy. He's actually competed in 9 Afcon. Nobody has gotten that record.
Wow.
Claude Leroy's coached Senegal twice. He took them to the first ever World Cup. So So it's somebody who has shared some sort of nexus with
Yeah.
that particular nation. So when he was asked at some point, because I was watching that interview and he said, for me, it's almost like a populist opinion. And it's for me, sometimes when you throw it to the media and say it's westernization and that we don't encourage our coaches, yes, I understand that part, we don't encourage coaches, but there are other ways to encourage our coaches. You can't just throw them into the big sea and have them go and coach these players who ordinarily play their football abroad.
Yeah.
Where is the respect? These are the intricacies. When these things are considered, how do you control these players? The man you're talking about has played for Senegal, lived virtually his life in Senegal. He was their captain. He was also a partaker in administration. He studied sport management. He understands, he knows his own. So basically, he has got so much wherewithal, and he was also given time. They didn't try to rush him and say, Oga, give us this thing.
No.
Give us. He has been in the saddle since 2015. So this is 8 years down the line.
Yeah.
Last year, he was in the final against Algeria, who were eventual winners. And he took it a step further to win it this time. So it's not something that came in almost like on a platter. There was a work in progress.
Because
At the time
there
of
was
the-
like strategies behind this.
Behind all of these things. So if you look at Claude Leroy, as I was saying, Claude Leroy didn't have, he would tell you, and I believe it, because he says, you are talking about African coaches and Korean, but did you know what Alice says? Alice has even spent more time in the diaspora than he has spent than me that I've lived in Senegal. He, even as a diasporian, has lived more in Senegal than Alice. But Alice, since he got a job and is very close to the player, he tours the whole of France. He has shared nexus with that part of the world. Senegal and France, they almost similar, they share similarities.
Yeah.
A lot of the players who are A-list players, by the way, play in France, except few of them like Sadio Mane. They don't usually go out to play within that confines, and it's easy for them to release sport. So these are the things. So what works for Senegal, in similar to what Nigeria would be for a player to actually do the same. Truth be told, and I'm going to use this opportunity to say this, Nigeria have made mistake over time, and there is a need for us to go back to the nursery and bring people who, of course, have the tactical prowess. It was a big mistake on our part to have led to this level, with all due respect. With everything that matters to our football, everything that is coined to our football, making Olise go was the wrong choice by every means of it. He might have a different opinion.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, what would be your opinion on this that you just brought in onto the table?
I quite agreed with most of the things he has said so far. Let me go further or go deep in the coaching aspect of it.
Okay.
And talking about getting the right players to play at a major championship, you need a lot of things. It talks about going to the nursery. I'm a product of the nursery he's talking about.
Absolutely.
Grassroots football.
There's a lot of talent.
Football from the school. I think I remember there used to be a national primary sport festival in those days where teams, different schools at the primary level played together, and from that team they select the best player. We form a zone. I'm a product. That was where I was spotted by Lagos Nepa team. We used to have what they call feeder teams.
Okay.
So going back, some of the things that we have left from doing in Nigeria is, discovering the talent from the grassroots. I want to tell you today, I don't know, we are still coming there. What are the problems with the Nigeria teams? We have a good players, but are the coaches doing enough to discover the real talent, the raw talent? We have a missing link since JJ Okocha left the national team. The link man, the number 10 man we are talking about, who has that visionary passes, who can locate his strikers at the right time. We have the likes of Sunday Olise that he has just mentioned. Having those two guys at the same time in the national team was a great thing for the Nigeria team then.
Absolutely.
And that was
it about then that we won the 2013 Afcon?
Yes, they won. These
They
teams
won the 1994 World Cup.
1994
Yeah.
Nations Cup,
I
and
remember.
they performed very well in the
World Cup. At the
World
World
Cup
Cup.
that very year. In fact, Nigeria was ranked the number 50.
And that's the
By-
highest by
and
any
that's the highest by the African team.
We're the
Yeah.
51st nation in football.
Till today.
Till today. The
No
closest was
African
Cameroon,
team
ninth.
has been ranked
No
number
African
5.
team ever has been ranked. That cluster, that team at that time, we say it over time, not because we cannot have such, but it is the mannerism to which we tend to run football, and football is administrative. And now, like you said, during their time, it was much more of passion. But today, now,
yes, we were playing for passion. It wasn't for money.
Football is business.
In fact, I have a regret that I never had the opportunity to play the national team because the players then you die to play. No,
if you were Coach Olajide, if you were at the national stadium, remember that time when they are training at the national stadium, just the training alone in the pitches, the legacy pitches.
Yes, you see big crowd, a lot of people.
Mammoth crowd, just coming to watch their training sessions at that time. That was how glamorous. That was how dignified and done in the jersey of Nigeria. I mean, you don't get to see that with all these players now because these players, we call them professional. So they give us sort of excuses. They give us sort of excuses. So there's something wrong somewhere, and it's fundamental. It has to go back to grassroots. What he's saying, I'm going to add or amplify that. He has said he has spoken because he's a product of that.
Okay.
And if there's anything that has helped people like him, I'm quite happy that he's on set. Because I know him. He doesn't know I know him. I know him well.
Wow! Can you imagine? Wow! I told you guys that we brought a star.
I wanted us to finish this show and now introduce myself properly.
Wow!
And explain certain things that I know about him.
Wow!
So one of the reasons why it is good is because the things we are talking about on this show would address a lot of things.
Okay.
Fundamental things. Of course, football is good. When Nigeria playing in the group stages, I told people that these guys will fall at some point. And it was not late. It was so early. We had a fantastic opening group stage.
I was so optimistic.
What happened in the group in the qualifying stage? It is Coach Olajide that will tell us because he's a technical person. Because it was obvious that the guys, for me, from an analytical point of view, they were lackluster, and not because they couldn't play, but because they were so overconfident. The much of the play we had in the second half, for me, was much more showing urgency to our play, which we lacked in the first period. We didn't do any of that. We now started, and that was why Iwobi ran into that man. And I said this to my cousin when we were watching. I said, this stamp is a red card offense. If there's a review, it would go out.
Of course.
I'm not saying deliberately did that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes instinctively you do certain things.
Yes.
And he did that, not doing deliberately, but we obviously know that it's in football. It's just like you talk someone in the boxing team, whether deliberately or not.
Or not.
Once there's an infringement, the referee points and there's a review saying that there was a tug on his shirt, or perhaps you actually hit him or something, it becomes a penalty. So the rules are the rules. Of course, we have people who use their own
yeah, there will definitely be comments on this. Football is really
coming down to
strong
what
for
he has
Nigeria.
said. We need to go back to the nursery, where Nigeria will do well. There used to be what they call youth sport federation in Nigeria. We don't have that anymore.
We don't have that anymore.
Those
There
are
used to
the
be
places
a time.
where the likes of Stephen
Keshi came out from. Yes, and those came out.
Let me tell you
came from that.
this. In those days, national team some of the national team football players were discovered. They were
From
in secondary school. There was no
qualification
for the national team
at 17.
Ademola Adesina used to be my senior.
At
St. Charles Osogbo. And he was in secondary school when he started playing for the national team.
So they are not doing that anymore.
So most of the school game has been
if you brought here a 17-year-old, I'm sure that 17-year-old cannot kick a ball and last for 30 minutes on the field. Why is that? It is because they're not doing what is right. We know American football. Just which day was that? I was having a conversation with someone and said American football, the NCAA, has $400 billion. Go and Google it up. And I saw it on ABC. And I brought that conversation in the office. Said, come guys, American football NCAA, it has grown this wide, $400 billion per year. And you can imagine the number of merchandising that goes into the NCAA, the colleges sports.
Would it be that the structures, there are no structures
they're not in place? They used to be, but they're no longer in place.
They're no longer in
place.
And some
Nobody
people
cares.
have been agitating for this.
And we've been saying that let's go back to the nursery. That's what we are talking about.
Listening.
In the NBA, let me also bust your bubble. In the NBA, there's something they call draft pick every year.
I know.
The draft pick is done from the college. Sure. Once you play from the college, you'll be sure that once you're good at the college, you have this celebrity status when you're in the American college.
Yeah.
That hey, and you see the cheerleaders say you watch high school films.
Yes.
You're the talk of the town. Like everybody wants to come and say, hey, you know him. Your locker is a special locker. I don't share lockers. These are the preferences we give to people. We're not saying that give them money, but give them these preferences and let them know that yes, we are stars and we're doing this because not because we're doing it because we have passion for it, but because we have been encouraged to do so. We don't have that, and I know that for a fact because I had an uncle who also was a football player. but not at the height of Stephen Keshi and the likes of Olajide. You sit there. But the thing about the matter is that we need to go back to that and do things appropriately. Yeah. What we are doing now is head hunting. We are not, yes, we are head hunting. I say, look at what we've done with Adelumola Lukman. We are head hunting. Adelumola Lukman now comes and tells us, I'm not playing for Nigeria. For how long will you do that? Ademola Lukman is giving us age. There's no falsification of age because that's what it is. There was a nursery created in the UK and he has developed through that process. And that's why we could have him for 23. And he's 23. He retired by 20. Look at Moses. He retired by 29. Yeah. He said it wasn't. But Nigerian players will tell you they are 29. And whereas in their real days of birth, they are like 35. That's what it is. These are some of the problems. All these things, they don't talk about them. But I am not one who will not talk about it because these are things that affect our football. Yeah. And I'm proud to carry the Nigerian badge. But things are not done properly. We should speak it out.
Wow. Amazing. Some of the things that have been mentioned so far, I never knew that it's not in place anymore. And I think that as we're watching this, these are issues. These are people who are core into sports and they've been bringing out the issues. You know what? Let's just go on the short break and we'll be right back.
When I pull up on your block, I do the shooting. Then we skirt up in that rape like what we doing. Couple shooters with me, we just caught a lick. Jump up out the whip, you know what it is. Now I pull up 30, chicken, curry, shells too spicy, movie, likely. You never found another shooter like me, yeah. All my life, I spread the ops like you. And I spit blood, now I finally found you.
Welcome back to Table Talk. Alright, so Mr. Ola Olajide, this question is for you. I remember during the first round of the Afcon, the Nigerian group now. Yes. I was so excited because at first I didn't want to watch it. I'm like, football, I don't want them to break my heart. But man, we literally were just going back to back to back. And then second round, it was like we just went home. So what really happened? What do you think happened? Like, how did we lose to Tunisia? Because I didn't see that coming. I mean, it was just crazy.
Ordinarily, anything can happen in the game of football.
Okay.
You don't underrate your
anyone.
Opponent. Because everything that have come for the championship, whether you like it or not, everybody wants to be the champion.
Yeah. Came to compete.
So some come with that sheer determination that yes. For instance, 2013, the players played for the coach then, Stephen Keshi. They played all their heart out just to make sure that yes. And I could record one of the interviews between the skipper of the team, Joseph Yobo, and the coach. Stephen Keshi told Joseph Yobo when they arrived there, I said, "Guy, we are going to win the championship." Yobo was like, "Oh, coachy, let's play the game first now."
Yeah.
But it's now an history. Now, talking about what actually went wrong, it can be attributed to a lot of things. Number one, like I said, you don't underrate your opponent.
Sure.
Secondly, from the Nigerian perspective, I will say first of all, maybe overconfidence, believing that they are going to run over the Tunisia team, just like they did in the first round.
Yeah.
You know, the first round, there is that tendency that we need to make record. We need to put in all our effort.
Yeah.
Especially the Egyptian match. I give a lot of kudos to the Nigerian team.
Yeah.
They were everywhere to match the Egyptian team. But I think after winning the 3 first game, probably it goes into their head.
Then they were getting a lot of calls and all that.
Believing that they have arrived, that other teams are going to be a walkover for them. That is one. Secondly, from the first half, you can see there was no sense of urgency. like they did in the first round.
Okay.
They were sloppy to me. They were not attacking the way they used to attack.
And the Tunisians were showing them respect for that.
The Tunisian was, yes.
Respect.
The Tunisian team have that fear
That
for
was
the
the only
Nigerian team.
attack they had.
And that was why they couldn't,
Attack.
they had a lot
Attack.
of crises in the Tunisia team.
Yeah.
The COVID.
Is there something the coach could have done?
He's going to tell us.
Let's just move on gradually. So there was no sense of urgency, and before they knew it, they were hit by that goal. We are still coming back into that goal. For me, the goalkeeper was not
That boy.
Maybe
My
because
crush.
That's the point.
maybe
My crush.
These are the problems.
maybe because of
These were the diversions.
the Oyibo man is the guy. Because to me,
Coach, few hours before that, in fact 2 days, I was on Instagram watching and on Twitter. You have to see the number of the Nigerian ladies who.
That's you were the one that confused him. You were the one that confused him.
If he had a phone, I was saying he was so glued to his phone. I don't know what was in his mind. How can you be a goalkeeper and not be prepared between the sticks?
But that guy was fine, Sha. He's fine.
Also, and that's the reason we lost because of his foul.
You guys, it's you people.
No,
Let him
I don't
ask
think-
finesse on the field.
I don't think that's fair.
Not kind of finesse. Let's go have the finesse.
They are talking about grassroots.
We are
People
talking
who are
about
prepared.
football.
Not people who are
And these are the
out there.
problems. Imagine if it was a Nigerian goalkeeper that was trained there, he would have gone berserk. I told you about the Nigerian coaches, Nigerian players. But this guy was raised abroad, but nothing is been said.
Honestly, on the part of the goalkeeper, I think I read online there were a lot of people that advised the coach Austin Eguafon to use Francis
Uzo
ahead of him. Because I remember I didn't actually watch the guy so much, but few matches that I watched,
I'm not impressed.
No
composure.
God bless you.
No composure, nothing.
So, and I wonder if Francis made that team. I wonder why
they forced him on us. I use the word forced him on us, and our media men forced him on us.
Above him. So let's go back to the main point.
Are we being weighed by this social media life? Is it getting into
But should we be? Should we be? Even as technical people, as expatriates,
we shouldn't.
We should not be. We should not be buoyed by these things.
So talking about the lackluster of the boys in the first stanza, before they realized it was too late, and you can always throw the North African, the Arab nation in Africa. When you talk about the technicality of the game they have the know-how.
Yes,
they have everything, even the antics.
They have
the late tactics that they don't have.
Simulation
They can easily fall, to call the attention of the referee
to delay time.
And to delay time. Even when they have the free kick, they won't play it on time. They like to throw the ball around to kill the time. These are the things that we need to learn in the Western region. It's part of the game.
Western part of
It wins
Africa.
the game for you.
Wow.
So we don't have it, but in North Africa, the Arabians, they have it. And you know what? They were waiting for the pressure, soaking all the pressure, and looking for a counter attack.
And we had our chances.
And we had our chances. But the strikers are not composed enough. And I wouldn't talk too much. And the national team, I think the 2013 we have 19 debutants in that Nations Cup. And this present one, we had 13 debutants. In every championship, we always have a debutant. And I wouldn't say we don't have enough experienced players. Some of them, even those they are not playing except the likes of Ndidi. But even this Sadiq Umar of 18 that playing the American second division is a prolific
striker.
But I think one of these problems is that playing in the championship for the first time. I don't think I've ever played in any qualifier.
And he has not blended.
He has not played. Bring him into the main team. The main team was a serious challenge for him.
Wow.
It was a serious challenge.
Imagine it was Osimhen that we had. Think of all the antics, this Western nonsense they did.
But honestly, I saw a great future in that guy.
Yes.
He's going to be a prolific striker in the mode of Rashidi Yekini.
He
is well trained and groomed. Honestly, he just needs to get his composure.
Yeah.
And this we are on here, but I need to say this. Talking about the technicality from the bench.
Okay.
We had a serious problem in that match.
That was why there was a shake-up, and I completely agree, coach, because I was expecting to, because these are internationals, they have something, and it's a problem for them. They like to fight themselves. That's why I said I want him to talk, and the most important of some of those conversations will be from the bench. For me, with all due respect, Joseph Yobo is a very, very good player, and I do not in any way placing, side by side with our great men. You know why? And not because he didn't see football from the hardest part of it, but because some of them were pampered. They didn't go through the same football. So at some point, it tends to bring that same style with these new boys, and I think they need it, because we cannot, just like back in time, how we were being trained by our parents. It's not the same way training once we're having now. There are some of the Gen Z, like they call them. So basically, it should be a blend of both and the new. But bringing in Amunike, who I think amongst our coaches has the highest, and of course Olise has the highest qualification as coaches, I think it shows a lot about his technical and of course well-being of experience. So bringing someone Amunike to come and displace him and having a Guavon with him should, I don't know, but I think coach would agree with me.
It would help them, because
Amunike is one man who I think I respect his tactical powers. He's a very
on the technical ground, you as a warrior, you don't go to the war front with one tactics.
Change it.
If you should be aware that when you deploy a certain tactics and it doesn't work, then you should change it. That is where the problem is.
Absolutely,
setting.
Agree. So I agree with him.
The same pattern we used in the first round that worked fine. Now you are playing against a more technical team.
Is it that they don't have a team that actually put this together, like a strategy team in the football?
That one is from the coaching bench.
Okay.
If you deploy a certain tactics and it doesn't work, you should be able to change it.
Exactly.
Like, for instance, this concluded World Club Championship. We understood that the Chelsea
manager
coach had to deploy 3 different tactics to ensure that Chelsea came out victory. That is the technical ability we are talking about
from our coaches.
So far,
that was because you tried. We relied on wing plays. Yes,
that's our style.
We are
as
having,
a nation.
Yes, as a nation for a long time. But now, football is scientific, very, very scientific now, and you need to. And probably after the retirement of JJ Okocha, like I mentioned the other time, we have never had a very good number 10. Which
but that can be groomed from the grassroots.
If the coaches will be able to.
Okocha did not hit the height of that excellence on a day.
We had.
He was Tamsolia. Remember?
We even had a young player that was coming up in the likes of Rabi Ibrahim then. But I don't really know injury setting, and I don't really know maybe the age he was talking about.
But also play the part. Because of age.
Yes. Yeah. So and I don't really know, because he was the one everybody was looking upon that he will take over from JJ Okocha. So having the combination of a very good defensive midfielder who have that split passes to throw, it's lacking in that team. But I believe the coaches, if they are able to work very hard, I'm a grassroots coach and I see a lot of players. Sometimes I watch the Premiership, I watch the Italian League, and I see the standard of game, and I keep asking my question. We have the boys who have the ability.
We have the boys. We can give you
better
the boys.
than those that we see. Those who play are brought over there. It is just by chance. They are the chance. So the coaching crew need to do a lot. Now, if your employer, the Nigerian Football Federation that employ the coaches, if they are not sending you on a refresher courses,
send yourself.
What are you doing?
Send yourself.
You should be able to send yourself on to update yourself.
This is
nothing is
going
stagnant.
to the coach.
Yes, I'm talking about the coaching crew. The present coach is the technical director of the sport whatever. Now when General was sacked, it was brought in. Fine, the players are eager to play for him as well. That is one of the things why we always support the indigenous coaches. Because yes, as an
they have a history.
Yes,
within the confines.
Yes,
they were legends.
As an ex-player, every young player aspire to be like you. So if you are appointed as a coach, let's look at Samson Seattle. Every player wanted to play for him
because they were very good.
So it always brings the best out of the players.
Okay.
The season he mentioned, the Senegalese coach,
was
a former captain of the Senegalese team. So the players are ready to die.
That was what happened during that Stephen Keshi time that he was saying too.
And the Nigeria situation does not give room for the ex-player to be at the ends of the affair of the Nigerian football. I don't know. They prefer to put the politicians, the party things in the football, which is not.
This thing needs to change.
How many years that Shegodegami has been trying to be the
NFL president,
and they jettison all the effort. Look at Samuel Eto'o now. He's the
president of the Cameroon Football Federation,
and you can see the energy there, all over, the zeal, motivation.
They are putting on.
They know the know-how of the game. Let them be at the helm of their affairs, because guys will ready to play. Yes.
So we have solutions to our problem.
We do definitely. So the coaches too should do. They should try as much as possible to update themselves by attending
special courses, international courses.
So not necessarily just waiting on the body to do
it. Since they will do it now, do it yourself. Okay. All right. So now
it was just like after my retirement. Yeah, that's one of the good things we have in those days when you play for the corporation, whether water corporation or NEPA. Once you have an injury or on a age grant and you have some certificates, you'll be deployed to an office. Okay. And at a point when I started, and yes, I used to let me say a graduate of an English language, and I find myself in the administrative aspect of NEPA. But I have a flair for journalism, so I started, attending courses on my own without the organization and not at the expense of the organization. Yeah. So as an individual, as a coach, you should do something. Emunike is developing himself.
Yes, now.
Rapidly.
Do you know the
so the other Nigerian
coaches, I don't tell you them.
They should follow suit.
I've used dollars to do coaching courses.
Wow, it's been amazing. So now on the marketability of the Nigerian football, can you give us something about it?
Yes, this is what I think we should do, and I'm not going to try and say much around it. It's simple. Football has gone beyond just entertainment. It's now business. So if you see sports as a business, strictly business, we should try also in our own very little way to see how we can amplify its growth. Okay. And how do we do this simply? Yes, it's good. And if NFL seems to have actually worked way around a particular module that seems to be working, it seems like Untitled is political affiliate or political affiliations and somehow open doors. Okay. But again, what are the kind of deals we are signing? The deals that we are not even known to Nigerians? What kind of deal do you call that? When you say you have signed a particular deal, you just hear it at the mention of these people in the media. They say 4-year deal. How much does it entail? What are the terms? We need to know what is what's meant for. What is this meant for? These are the things that should be spelled out. That's how a deal is actually orchestrated. When you do it, put it out to the media, and so that we have something to format. Okay, at this point, this is what Untitled did, and this is what Untitled was able to actually put this money for. Okay. Yes, we hear that. Transparency. We need to be sure of these things. These are the things. Now we hear. And it's shocking to me because a lot of persons have said that Untitled has done so much. Yes, he seems to have done so much. But I ask myself the question: how deep has it gone with this development? How deep has it been able to move our football forward? I don't talk about this personal, achievement of having to rise through the ranks from African football, from the African football governing body to FIFA, where he is. He seems to be moving with the big boss, but how has he been able to use such influence to grow our football? I think Nigeria has gone beyond just going as a nation to start a dancing for talent. Okay. We should create a springboard. We should try and revamp and of course bring up footballing competition. That's just an aspect of football, so that we can, and how we can grow this is by marketability. People keep saying that UBA, all these banks, Union Bank, all this, that they are not doing a whole lot of stuff. Total Energy has done so much, and we know how much they've actually made from the CAF. And we are going to be told in another few days how this money will be channeled to all of these nations. All the likes of the Minos that he has mentioned earlier, the Comoros of this world, the Equatorial Guineans of this world. They are only, because what Nigeria makes in earnings is not the same thing as Comoros makes, or South Tome and Principe, for instance. So there's a need for you to, of course, make them enjoy the level playing field. So if you give Nigeria a particular amount of money, give them a particular amount of money to grow their football. That way we can have more competition, then we can afford to develop growth. That is what we should do. We understand that in Lagos there seems to be more like a flux of where you have talent. So if there are influx there, go to other places where football is not at the highest level, so that they also can develop. There are some states in Nigeria, that's how to do it. Create grassroots competition. There's no use for the game, but let the NFF devise a means. Go and seek partnership with all these major multinationals. meet with them throughout the timeline and say, okay, for the period of this, we want to use it and be consistent in it, so that way we can now see emerging talent. We'll be able to address a lot of issues. For speaking of age, will be addressed because we will have known that the school sport is also taking a part in that process. We understand that people who own academy, if he is the coach of a particular place, he will bring up an academy and don't let the participation, the process is too bureaucratic, so that people don't say, we don't have this because we don't have this amount of money. These are the little bottlenecks we need to, and that is how marketability is strengthened. When you are doing this and it's transparent and we are creating the buzz around it, the media buzz, I'm sure a lot of people, because you want to put your money where your mouth is. If you want to put something somewhere, you want to be sure that this person I'm putting my money has this what I need. He has this stuff that I want to invest in. And you see that people come, they invest, and once they invest, they become the go-to person. They go to come and say, that company, because there was a time, Coach Olajide, you bear me witness, when Nigerian sport was strong, we used to have what they call the Omo Classic.
Definitely.
Omo Classic will create the springboard for table tennis. There used to be a time, I'm from Lagos Island. That's where my dad is from. Okay. My mom is from Oyo State, but I'm from Lagos Island. I used to know one place in Sura. You remember that time? Around that, the what's called the Osura, where the Osho, the Takpa, around that area, where we used to have discovery of many talents, the likes of Kofu, why the Osho, all of them, all of them, they were discovered because there was a Homo Classic being sponsored by Omo at the time.
Wow.
You understand? We used to have the Molade Okoya Thomas tennis championship.
Used to be our
tennis player, and she's the longest Olympian by Nigeria.
They need to revive that.
We need to revive all of these things. Okay, go and meet this bank. I said, use this bank. We want us to look at under 17. You and under 17 for us. Throughout the timetable, defend it. We'll give it wide publicity, wide coverage. You don't need that. You, I want to meet you. You are a Thai company. Okay, sponsor this for us. You are a cosmetic company. Our ladies that play football, make sure you have to do all of it. You are always, you do this for them, and that's how we can do it. And that we are getting there.
Wow.
Meet them, but they must be sure that you have a plan. And that's what I keep saying. These people don't know our plan. What they know is just selfish interest. We need people who are properly groomed, who know about sport management and administration.
So our sport can be better if we can be transparent.
And that's way. If you give it,
having the right
also
people,
use the
if you put this another 10-20 years, you'll see that Nigerian football will be the top, or Nigerian sport will be the top of everywhere.
Nigerian sprint athletes,
yes, Nigerian sprint athletes were very good in the days.
And what happened?
But now these days, you go to the Olympic, it's hard for us to get just one gold, just a bronze.
Wow.
And Nigeria has been earning, for a nation has been earning his Olympic gold as far back as 1956. Najima even. If we were not putting Najima even boxing as far back as 1950. We used to be,
I don't
when it
even
comes
think
to
that one is even on.
sports, boxing, Nigeria was very good.
It's one of
our stronghold for Nigeria.
When Nigeria is going to Olympic,
we are sure of boxing. We have good boxers. But today, it has dwindled. So these are the questions.
Even the sprint has died down.
Wow, amazing.
So we need to just focus on football. It's not good. At the detriment of other sports, that's not how to do it. Wow. We are not a
football. We do very well.
Yes, and we are not a football ministry. We are a sport ministry, and these are the questions that are beginning. That we are saying that put it at the foot of the minister. Anybody that minister, I don't care whether you are a sport person, but try and move with the right people so that you can draw up a plan and let the media know. Speak it out to the world press and let them know that this is what you want to do. So that by the time you don't move through that part, they will be the one to now say no. You say you're going to do this, and that's how we can call them to question. If you call them to question, they'll tell you are a bad journalist.
Wow.
That's what somebody tells us. You ask questions, they tell you no.
It has revealed a lot of things.
I'm really happy that we're having this conversation. But at the same time, for me, and I think I've said it before, it's really sad that we have, other countries. We can use them as examples.
You don't even have to. I know why you don't have to. Because the truth about the matter is that most of these other countries too, there's something they seek from the African people.
Yeah, but but you also agree that
like the way they are doing
marketing,
things, right?
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
we have
the way they are doing things.
Let me use as an instance. You're a very good marketer and you work into NFF and you work with NFF. My dear, you will not work and stand your feet at the marketer you think you are. Because they have bosses, and those bosses have their own plan. So
there's this bureaucratic way of doing things.
It's even beyond bureaucracy now. It's now a thing of
politics.
You don't. Just my idea. You don't understand. You don't understand. But we're not supposed to do that. So don't
understand. What don't we understand?
And they will not tell you these things. Wow. That is how bad it is.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So, Mr. Ola, this question is for you. So some teams actually complained about, logistics, accommodation, and I'm referring to the just concluded Afcon that was hosted by Cameroon. So, does that affect your own personal, and I'm talking about from your perspective now.
Does
Does that affect your personal rating of, Cameroon?
No.
Okay, so why is that?
No. In every competition or championship, and away from football organization, it could be a corporate organization. You always have your flaws.
Okay, no one is perfect.
No one is perfect. No one is perfect. So that should not be used to score the last Afcon low at all. But we can improve.
Okay. So the likes of Cote d'Ivoire can learn from them like this?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all about, it boils down to one of the things we are saying, having the right
people to handle things.
Who are those who are in charge of the tailor?
Who are the people?
Yeah.
Who are those that handle it?
Are they the people that have the foreknowledge? That's the question.
And I used to say something in the overall, because for me, that's always my thing. You don't give what you don't have.
Okay.
You cannot compare Cameroon with, say, for instance, Lagos. If Lagos were to host, because when you talk about one of the 5-star hotels in West suburb of Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, if you are doing a comprehensive overview, you cannot have a hotel mentioned in side by side in the West African suburb. When you mention two in South Africa, you should mention like one or two here in Lagos or in Nigeria. That's how bad. So there's some things that you don't have, and you can't give what you don't have.
True.
Without respect to Cameroon, Cameroon is a fine nation. But you cannot compare what it is. It's very small in Central Africa compared to what you have in Nigeria. So that's also the factors that we have to consider.
Wow, I told you guys that we have great people that are really deep rooted in sports on this edition. Are you not impressed? We've been impressed so far, because the fact that they have been dipping deep into, like, they are digging deep into these problems, and yes, you might have known about it, but these are people who are in this system and are telling you. We are soon coming to the end of this show, but we'll be going on a short break now, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Table Talk. So this has really been insightful, and I'm so happy to be co-hosting, this particular edition. All right, so the next question I have is to Mr. Ola Olajide. So which Nigerian forward, right? Which Nigerian forward player would you say actually put in their best or his best? Just like, what's his name? Sadio Mane. Yeah.
Well,
and if there's none, just tell us none.
You push come and hear your score.
The Nigeria forward, for those that we presented in
the
Afcon championship, in terms of quality, in terms of ability, experience, they cannot be compared with Sadio Mane of Senegal. There are a lot of gap in between. But those boys can be better with time, with adequate, giving them more chances. Let me speak about Sadiq Umar. Because I saw a lot about him. He's going to be a very good finisher if he's being given more chances to play in the national team. I'm not sure whether he's being called for this present the playoff against Ghana. But one of the things that the team's handler needs to be doing, there are players that need to be invited to understudy in the national team. That was done to the likes of Cameroon after the Japan 1993. He was called immediately into the national team to understudy, and that helps him a lot. He made the Atlanta 96 squad with Celestine Babayaro. So some of these boys need to be invited, not to start playing immediately, probably to undergo some certain things so that their confidence level can improve. Thank God we have our main striker in person of Victor Osimhen in the team now. He's going to do a lot for Nigeria team. We have a lot of time. We don't have time as well to prepare. The playoff is at hand. I think it's coming very March.
When is the playoff?
March against Ghana. We need to be fully concentrated. God forbid Nigeria must not, God forbid.
we must be in Qatar.
We must be in Qatar.
Okay.
Operation must be in
All
Qatar.
hands must be on deck.
deck.
I actually appreciate the Nigeria Football Federation for retaining Coach Austin Egbafon and for calling
Adding up
with Amunike. Honestly, they are. I see them as a very good consortium of coaches. They are going to help the team, and you see, when you talk about the coaching crew, talking about the players, having the right coach or the coaches at the right time, it helps. It motivates the players.
No.
So having an indigenous coach with the national team now is going to be very, very helpful to the team, because you like this guy that played for Nantes, Simon Moses. The way I saw Simon Moses in the last championship, I've never seen him like that in recent times. Under General, probably the changes of the coaches.
Okay.
So that was like a positive
giving
one.
Yes.
Okay.
To play, so it helps a lot. So I'm happy with the present coaches.
So
I'm sure we can go far.
On a final note, so what would be your advice to the Nigerian team and the management? Just something. I know we've been saying a lot of things that they had to look into, but on a final note, I would like to get each of your advice. But I'll start from Mr. Ola Olajide.
Yes, talking about, let me speak, because like I said, we don't have June is at hand. The World Cup proper.
No, World Cup is even in December.
Is it in December?
It's in December because of the
Arab, whatever. That's good for Nigeria. It's good for Nigeria, but then we shouldn't be carried away with that.
It will be the first time we're having the World Cup outside the regular timing.
I will just advise the national anthem to
still
give
the
chance
COVID-19.
No, it's because of the summer is like it's hard. The temperature rises up like over 42 degrees.
Okay.
So that's not good for the players and all
Yeah.
that. So.
Okay.
To the coaches, they need to work hard to discover more players. If we have, if the World Cup is still by December, there's still time. So we still want them to discover a very good number 10. Somebody that can link between the defense and the attack.
That's the
Like your coach, yeah.
The number 10 man.
Okay.
And a very good defensive midfielder. Ndidi is good, but it's more of a combative defensive midfielder.
Okay.
We need that defensive midfielder who can spray passes.
In the mode of Olise.
In the mode of Sunday Olise. Thank you.
So what about you, Mr.
Well,
Bayo
my advice has always
Salau?
been very fundamental. We need to go back to the nursery, see ways how we can develop our sports, because there's one thing I use as a perfect example. There was a time when Germany, of course, they hopped the headlines for the right reasons, but take your mind back to how they lost, the opportunity to lift the World Cup against Brazil. Brazil had a mixture of the young, it was Discovery was the first, our first World Cup for Ronaldinho. He helped the headlines for the positives. And Germany also had a fair share of very few players who were young at the time, and they were doing quite well. You remember the likes of Balogun, Bastok, and all that. So it was, for me, a lesson for the Germans. The Germans went back and, of course, went into a proper planning and created what they call a wear and tear. So for every competition, when you see almost a German player who has played for a particular time, once he retires, another person immediately takes after him. And I really lay emphasis to some names, if you're, very conversant with the German names, the likes of, Custom Ramino, the likes of Oliver Neuville, when they left, Michael Ballack. We have other players, the likes of Gote, like Marcus Ruiz, all of these guys came in. And we have new players now coming in, the likes of, Laurent Goretzka. These are guys just coming in. So there's a wear and tear in the German national side. You can see how long it took them to have Joachim Löw, in charge of the team. It's a process. So that is what we should do. We should go back. And so that when we are done with this set of Nigerian players, we have other players who are also taking after them. I think that's my suggestion.
Wow. It's been wonderful, right, Crystal?
Amazing. Amazing.
I think so far we've not had a set that I say it as it is. We've not had people say it as it is, this too great mighty. You guys have said it as it is, and I'm really very happy about this, because this is going to get out there. We'll try as much as possible to push it to the right people, for you to see some of these flaws in the. It's not like you don't know some of this. You know it, actually. But we are just saying that we could be better. You see, we could be number one. We are doing well in this, in a lot of places, and one of it is football. It brings us together. It makes us one. We could change the narrative that some countries see Nigeria as the negative aspect using this football. If we do it the right way, the way Coach Olajide and Mr. Bayo has told us. So it's been an amazing time with them here, and this has been an amazing session as well. So we're going to be coming to an end of this program and this edition. Until next time, which would be bringing you another amazing one. We want you to watch this, listen, digest, and comment. And if possible, if you really need our guests to help you out, maybe you don't know how to do this, they are available, but it's not going to be on a free thing. It's going to be and we are going to be linking you up with them. But on a more serious note, if you really need their help on this, because they are really deep rooted, they are available. Thank you once again, Coach Olajide. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mr. Bayo. We really appreciate. And then we're going to be signing out. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.